Hello, Joe. I do apologise, mate, for
No
that.
problem, mate. Listen, I've moved around the house, although the signal's still the same. I have moved around the house,
Yeah, that's
so
no problem. How you
it's
been,
on.
Joe? Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay, mate. Sound like I say, gym's flying. Got lads with a good few fights coming up now. Busy, and like I say, I finished my chemo treatment last week, tablets and that. Like I say, just busy in the gym and getting the fighters ready for the fights.
You're under knife, aren't you, next month, aren't you? End of next month.
Yeah, in another 4 or 5 weeks, we've got a few scans to do first, and then I go in for a double operation for the bowel and the liver, and then we'll see how much of the bowel. I think the whole bowel will go, and we'll see how much of the liver will go. So we'll know more after that, mate. So, like I say, in the meantime, it's just like business as normal, and we just crack on. And I need Zelfa to look good on Saturday night, get a win, and then we've got Mikey Talon in a good fight the week after. Then Clark Smith out, and then we're just waiting on a date on Lawrence Okolie.
Do you think doing them 18-hour days, Joe? Because you're first and in there, aren't you, at 6? I know, because I've been there. Then you're out at midnight. It's the long day. It's a long job in at boxing training. You're like a probation officer, aren't you, as well?
Well, as Brendan would say, you're a priest, you're a counsellor, a probation officer, boxing coach, life
Mum,
coach.
dad.
Yeah, everything. But listen, we all know what we all sign up for, and in anything in life, you only get out what you put in. So you got to be 100% invested. And as a boxing coach, that means you're going to have to sacrifice parents' evenings, family time, holidays, all that type of stuff to thing. And that's the thing with boxing as a coach. And there's a lot of young coaches now that are starting out and everything else, but. Yeah, they're the sacrifices for you to go on to be what you want to be as a coach. They're the sacrifice you're going to have to make.
Do you ever have any young boxers, obviously young lads who at your gym, come up to you asking you for advice on women, Joe?
On
Have you had
it's
that
a
over
common theme.
years?
I think that's every 20 minutes, every morning in the gymnasium, whoever it does be. Not naming names, but yeah, that's a common one. We always try to put the love track music on a Friday to send everyone home, have a weekend all loved up to the partners. Bit of old school stuff. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's it.
How's the Welsh kid doing?
Yeah, Sean's doing well. He's all
Sean.
right. He's training. Hopefully, we get him a fight out soon now. So, yeah,
What
we're,
about
we're
the
all.
kid that got robbed in that 154 fight? The Manchester kid.
I'm just in the German track thing. I might be calling McGowan's Manchester.
McGowan, yeah, McCauley.
Yeah,
How's he doing?
McCauley's been doing really well. He's been coaching. Obviously, he's got his second license, so has Marcus. And they've been coaching. Obviously, the times I've not been able to be in the gym, being in hospital or being away and everything else, but they're developing really well as good coaches, and they'll be really good. And Macaulay will be back out in soon. He's had a good break, had time off. He's had a really busy 2 year period, fought some really good fighters, Tyler Denny, and then the European champion, and
Mm.
the Parisian kid before that, and then a few small holders. So we just needed a break, a bit of time out, enjoy a bit of family time, and he kept his eye in the gymnasium, training and helping out. And yeah, he'll be ready to go and give it another go in a couple of months.
Marcus has got a lot of patience, hasn't he, as a trainer?
Well, he needs to learn to have patience as a trainer, otherwise you won't go too far. But yeah, Mark is just doing well, and it's good to see the likes of like Crawler flying now and Scott Quigg doing well, and
Mm.
Paul Butler. I think Paul Butler is going to go down as a very, very, very good coach. I
Yeah.
think he's learning his craft well. He's involved with the amateurs. The kids are doing well. They're winning national titles, and I think as a coach, I think to be an amateur coach and learn the trade as an amateur from weigh-ins to giving weight experience, 12 months, all that championships. You have your ups and your downs, but prepares you very good for the pro game. And I think what Paul Butler's doing now, he's learning his apprenticeship and he's doing very well. But I think he will become a very, very, very good coach.
How's Natasha doing?
Tasha's all right. She's having a good few nights out here and there, and she's over in America at the moment. She's doing a lot of work within the community that she does, and she's a manager for a couple of fighters, so she's good. She's got to come and see me in the gym next week, and I think she's got to go out and watch Katie's fight, and then she'll mostly make a decision in the next 6 weeks or so whether she's got to carry on or not. But in the meantime. She's busy spending good time with her daughter, having holidays, and yeah, the more Tasha's away from the gym, the better it is.
Do you ever see that fight with Terry Harper and Tasha happening, the rematch?
I don't know. Obviously, Terry Harper operates at 135, 140 now. I don't know
Mm.
whether I'm sure Tasha will get to 140. But I don't know. I don't. Their conversations me and Tasha will have in a few weeks. Do you know what I mean? And sit down and see whether she wants it and whether the fire burns bright, or as Ed Sheeran says, that the legs don't work no more.
What about Joe Cooper and Lawrence Okolie?
Joe Cooper,
Jack
very good
Massey.
kid. Joe Cooper's a very, very good prospect. I feel with my young guns that I've got now of Joe Cooper, Mohamed Ali Kell, Clark Smith, Mikey Talon. There's one or two kids that I've got to join as well. I do feel like them 4 or 5, Huey Malone, another one just had his pro debut. They're all around the age 18, 19, 20. They're all got to push each other, and they're very competitive in the gym. But Joe Cooper's a good kid. He's had three as when he was 18, just turned 19 now, 4-0. And if we think we can bring him on over the next 2 or 3 years, and then when he gets to 22, 23, a bit of man strength, I'm telling you, he's got to be a serious prospect. But he's at that age, which is a tough age for boxing, for boxers, that 18 to 21 year. That's where you can lose fighters or whether they can stay. They're introduced to girls, they're introduced to holidays, they're introduced to alcohol, all that type of stuff, as long as he keeps them straight and narrow, and all of them, that includes Mo, Mikey Clark, and they come through and get to age 20, 21, you've got them. And listen, I think that they're all got to be huge prospects in the future. Jack Massey's waiting on a date. Obviously, he hasn't fought since Opataye. Bit disappointed he hasn't been out already. Chris Billum Smith fought after him against Ramirez and has been out again since. So it's just a bit painful for Jack to be sitting and waiting. Josh Holmes won the English title November, December time, and still waiting for a date of him when he needs to be out. He won the English super featherweight last time he was out. And yeah, Billy Dennis is out in Canada at the moment doing some sparring. So we'd like to get him back. He's an exciting talent as well. And yeah, we're just waiting for a few dates. Lawrence Okolie. Obviously, Lawrence a year ago last week, he won the Bridgerweight world title in 1 round. Since then, he had another 1 round win and thinking, and for the position he's in, the WBC #1 in the world, he needs a fight. We need a fight. Us as a coach and a fighter, we need another fight. We need a fight where we can get rounds, whether it be 6, 8 rounds, and we build that relationship. We can't be going into the fight with Cabiel if that belt becomes vacant, with Cabiel on 2 rounds in a year. And whether we fight like a Washington or Pulev, Otto Warling, and in the same way that you've just seen Frank do with putting Moses in a takeover job, someone to consolidate his position, get him on. That's what we want for Lawrence. We're not after life or death fights. We're WBC #1, but we want a fight to consolidate that position and keep the tools sharp and stay active and work in our relationship that I know going into a Pulev fight what Lawrence is like after 3 rounds, 5 rounds, 6 rounds, because he's never had to carry out instructions yet apart from the opening bell.
Do you feel, Joe, that a lot of trainers, I'm not having a go at you here, but they turn around and they say, well, we're going to need rounds going into that fight because we've only been, is it the last 2 or 3 fights? He's blown them all out in a round, hasn't he, Lawrence?
Yeah, 2 fights, yeah.
Last 2 fights. So going into this next one, you're saying you might need rounds if it's against a certain fighter, but other trainers would say, well, we just want to knock everybody out, wouldn't they?
Well, yeah, I get that, and Lawrence is that, but I think experience in him, and it's just my experience with Lawrence in the corner of it to
Yeah,
see how he reacts to instruction. And yes, I'm sure everyone will say, well, you can do loads of sparring, you can do high
yeah,
class sparring or close behind doors fights and stuff like yeah. But when there's a crowd and an atmosphere and a pressure on, it's different.
yeah.
And I need that. We're not asking for anything that hasn't gone beforehand. I think someone's thrown Dylan White a quick fight as a warm up. Like it's like, well, we're only asking for the same. We want a fight, and it's more to keep the shoot tools sharp. Because Pulev's a very dangerous fighter, and that is most likely who would fight for the WBC world title if the belts get vacated after Dubois and Usyk.
Joe Joyce took a takeover fight when he was mandatory, and it sort of it's never happened for him since, has it? Do you remember?
Yeah, exactly. Well, listen, we've asked for them opponents. We've asked for Dylan White. Regardless what Dylan tells you, he don't want it. Joe Joyce doesn't want it. And there's other fighters out there that don't want it. And I understand that because no one, the jury's out still as Lawrence Okolie as a heavyweight.
Lauren's
But,
fresh as a daisy, but he's icing people now, isn't he?
well, the strength and the power. And it's like, well, Derek Chisora had 12 rounds of Otto Wilding. Well, give us Otto Wilding or give us some of these kids and let us show you how good we are and everything else. And listen, you don't want to be going into a life or death. You're WBC number one, and you want to hold that position. But in the meantime, until that happens, we need a fight in the same way that other people have had fights gearing up towards a world heavyweight title fight.
I remember Dylan White and so other people were trying to intimidate Lawrence a few years back when he were a cruiserweight. Now he's a fully fledged heavyweight and he's gone through Bridgerweight and won a belt there. Everybody seems to be treating him like they were Louis Ortiz a bit back. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. But listen, Lawrence is chomping at the bit. He's in Dubai. He wants to get over to Manchester. He wants to get in camp. He's training over there. He's doing stuff over there. We have regular contact. And it's like for where he is, and I think the people behind him as well, Tember and Frank Warren and everyone else, they would love to get that WBC world title back. And they've got the man to do that in
Mm,
Lawrence Okolie. So I'm sure they'll want to make sure it's the best version of Lawrence before he fights Kubrat Pulev, and they understand about getting the right opponent. We don't want bangers and people like that to ruin that position and give it up. Do you know what I mean? It's like
yeah.
just consolidating, just like what they've done with Moses and what they're doing with Derek and other fighters like that. Do you understand? And if Lawrence can get that WBC world title, Frank's got the WBC champ, then he'll have Moses, the WBO champ, and then he'll have Chisora, wherever Chisora's position. Do you know what I mean? And I think Moses, Joseph Parker, they could do that fight now for a final eliminator. But
Mm,
I don't think they would do. They'll hold back on that and make it for a world title. Do you understand? And it's the
mm,
neither of them, Joe Parker and them, will want life or death fights now in the positions that they're in. Do you understand? We're the
mm,
same.
mm. You've got Zelfa out this weekend, haven't you? You looking forward to that?
Yeah, really excited to be working with Zelfa Barrett. He's a kid that I've admired from afar from a long time. He helped me out in camp when Crawler was getting ready for Perez and Linares, and I've seen what he's capable in the gym, and I've seen things, and I've never really felt we've never really seen.
The best of him.
Yeah, and that's no disrespect to anyone else. I don't know. There's something like anything. It could be a default in the makeup, but we'll soon find out now over these next 2 or 3 fights. But there's kids in the gymnasium, you walk in and go, well, he's world champion. Yet they turn up in the night and there's an extra another 10, 15% that they do better. Then you have kids that are absolutely world beaters in the gym, and then you put them on the big stage and
Yeah. Yeah. How's Crawler
like,
doing?
yeah, he's doing well. He's flying. He's either in a corner or he's on TV, punches to work. He's doing really well, and he's got some good kids, some good prospects coming up. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, no, he's doing well.
Quig's the daddy in our Quiggy.
Yeah, Scott Crigg's a dad. I think it took him a couple of months before she allowed him to go back out to Dubai training his fighter over there, Andy, and that, and a couple. So, yeah, but it's like I said here, it's a whole new life as a boxing coach, and especially for Scott Quigg. Scott Quigg's always been someone, I wouldn't say a loner, but always got off his seat and decided to go to Dubai today and let me go on a training camp over there and train somewhere. Let me go to LA. But now with his missus and his baby, I think the reins might be getting pulled in a little bit. But Scott's a very focused and motivated individual, and I think him and
Crawler will do well. Yeah, I do. He did, Joe.
yeah, I'm there, mate.
Uh, okay, I went in Brown Cow at Bury a few months back, and there's a big old poster of Quiggy in there. Have you seen it on wall in a frame?
No, I haven't. No.
And his pals, Big Frank from Bury and that, and a few
Yeah,
other
yeah,
people who've grown up with Scott. There's Quiggy's over there. You see him there? That's one of his relatives that got a chippy and that. So they're well known round there, aren't they?
yeah,
But,
yeah. Scott Quigg is it. Him, like you say to you, that them nights at the arena where at first him and Crawler weren't strong enough to headline it on their own. They always joint headlined it
yeah,
until they were ready to, and then eventually Scott Quigg blew up and he ended up being able to headline on his own, and Crawler headline on his own, and obviously Terry Flanagan in Manchester was doing well at the time. And that's touching on Zelfa Barrett. That's something that's always got me. How Zelfa Barrett never picked up the baton from them three and then carried on and built up and became a world champion and carried Manchester for a while, and that's something that we want to do. Self's story, he's got a great story. The public need to hear it. There's, I think, once the people connect with him and know about his story, they'll get behind him. Like I say, when he fought
yeah.
Jordan Gill, he had Rashford there, Josh Stones there, John Stones there. For me, he's very popular in Manchester.
Mm.
And what we've got to do, we've got to connect with them and get his story out there, and obviously get behind him. And I'm not saying Zelfa Barrett can do 20,000. Neither could Crawler or Quigg run the thing out, but they could do 8, 9,000. And the undercard fighters that they had, they were building up with Jack Basses, Zelfas, and the Tyrone Nurses, and Josh Warringtons. They were all on the undercard coming through to eventually be headline. And I think now with Manchester now, especially with Zelfa with Eddie, which is easy to do. You've got Zelfa there, you've got Pat Brown there, you've got Rihanna Dixon there, and they've got other Manchester prospects as well that they can put on there. Do you understand? I think Zelfa could be the one to lead Manchester for the next 12, 18 months to headline with the young kids coming through.
Yeah, do you remember back in the day we had Michael Brody and Ricky Hatton and that, and Quigg and Crawler and your Flanagans, that they sort of like took over mantle from them, didn't they?
Yeah, they did it. Like you say, you had Brody, and then obviously before that you had Carl Thompson, and then
Yeah.
obviously Brody came along, and then there was Ricky Hatton. Do you understand? And yeah, and then after that, like you say, your John Murrays, and then your Crawlers, and then your Quiggs, and then
Mm.
since then Lyndon Arthur and Zelfa and kids like that. But for whatever reason, I don't know how they didn't pick that baton up and carry on them nights at the arena.
Yeah, because back in the day, 20 years ago, Manchester Arena were where it were at, wasn't it, really?
Yeah, and also you had Steve Foster way back at the time when he fought Winky Wright, Ensley Bingham, Winky Wright, Steve Foster Jr. I say Michael Gomez, Farnell. There was some really good fighters from Manchester that was keeping Manchester flying at the time, whether it be at the Velodrome, at the arena. Yeah, Manchester's a hotbed of boxing, and we need to get that again. It's not that we don't have the talent; we do have the talent, but not everyone's seeing the talent, and there's a lot of talent that's not being signed up or not being shown. And if someone can invest in them and get them out there, Manchester will be the capital of boxing again.
Yeah.
And you cannot forget also your Amir Khans and your Tyson Furies as well. The Mountain Knights, Amir Khan had the arena as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Joshua Fury, is it going to happen, Joe? It looks further away than ever now, doesn't it?
Yeah, listen, Tyson Fury said he's retired. I've seen people giving him sucks, and he's saying that so many times, so many times. He's enjoying his life. We'll see what happens. Anthony Joshua, obviously, he's had a little niggle and a little operation, but I do feel Anthony Joshua needs to get back in the ring as soon as possible, regardless of his fighting. He needs to put them demons of Dubois to the back of his head. He needs to get out there. He needs to get a win, and then look at possibly go for Dubois again. Whether there's a sell with Usyk today, I can't see that. Is
Mm.
there who wants to see Joshua Dylan White again? I don't really want to see that, but I would watch Miller versus Anthony Joshua. I think that's a very good fight. I think Miller, the trash talk, the build up is a good fight. I think Deontay Wilder Joshua is a good fight. And I think they're the fights what I see, but Dylan White, I don't really want to see that. But I do feel they need to comeback fight Anthony Joshua. He's got to get his confidence back. He's got to get out there. He's got to get a win. And then let's go into your Millers, your Deontay Wilders, deal with them, and then see how the landscape is for the world titles after that.
Yeah, I seen an interview with Adam Smith where he were pushing the Deontay Wilder Dave Allen fight. Can you see that happening, Joe?
Well, one, I think you'd have to pay Deontay Wilder an awful lot of money unless Deontay Wilder just thinks that Dave Allen isn't that much. And then also for Dave Allen, listen, you're putting your health on the line fighting Deontay Wilder. He's a puncher and a serious puncher, and you will get well paid. So whoever can put the money up for that, then yeah, it's a fight. But I don't think if the money's there, then neither boys would take a risk. Well, I'm sure Dave Allen wouldn't take the risk because Deontay Wilder only has to hit you the once and it's lights out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very dangerous fight, that.
He's there to be it, Dave, as well, isn't he?
Is a little bit, but like I say, Deontay, he's coming back. He's been beat a few times, but you've got to look at who's been beat by. Do you know what I mean? Tyson Fury, like one of the best, do you understand? And then against, was it Dubois? Do you know what I mean? They're like the big fights, hard fights to be against. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
big step up for Dave Allen, that. But you could be getting him at the right time. Do you know what I mean? Dave's growing in confidence, and he'll be after the biggest payday.
Also, I saw the Gareth A. Davis one where they were mentioning Anthony Joshua as a possible opponent for Dave Allen, and Eddie mentioned it as well. Do you think that's just lip service to keep them in mix and to keep because we're running out of things to talk about, or
I can understand Anthony Joshua, as I said to you, as a comeback opponent.
yeah,
They most will be lucky, and that's no respect to Dave Allen, but they're most will think, well, I'm world champion. I've been in this. I've only lost to Usyk and Dubois and Bruce. Like I should beat him, and if I can't beat him, why am I doing it? And then it'd be a bit of a payday for Dave Allen, and Dave Allen will think, Anthony Joshua, he could be shot here. All I have to do is land one or two like I just have, and I'm gate crashing the division. So I think there's an awful lot of reward for Dave Allen, but little reward for Anthony Joshua.
Mm. How do you see Dubois and Usyk going, Joe? What we've got left here? We've got 6 minutes left. How do you see
I think it depends what Usyk's got left, and we won't know that because after them big fights with Joshua, with Tyson Fury, the knocks, the pains, everything else, we don't know. And people still forget he's the oldest of the heavyweights, yet we think he's the youngest because he's the smallest. So we have to see what he's got left. He's had a big, extensive amateur career. Daniel Dubois is a man on fire. He's absolutely on top form. It's a chance for him to get revenge against Usyk. I think he's got more belief in himself now from the first fight. He knows he can hurt him with a body shot. The only thing is that mentally, this is where Usyk beats a lot of fighter. The mental movement, the mental guessing, is exhausting fighters. And then in the later rounds, then he catches them, and that's what he seemed to do in the last fight with Dubois. It was just that mental keeping switched on because of Usyk's movement, his feet movement, his feints, his traps, and he's offsetting you all the time and not letting you get confident in throwing shots. And in the end, I think it was a jab that mentally done Daniel Dubois in the end. But he's a lot more experienced. He's absolutely won a world title in great fashion, beat Joshua in spectacular fashion, and he's a man on fire. And I wouldn't rule out him beating Usyk, but you've got to go with the man with the experience of beating Joshua, Fury, and all the big guns. That maybe this may be some fighters have one big fight in them, and I think this could be Usyk's. Do you understand? And he may just still be a little bit too street fight for Daniel Dubois, but I wouldn't rule Dubois out winning either. It's a very 50-50 fight.
Yeah. I seen a lot of stick on boxingscene.com forum last night about Eddie's stable at the moment in UK. He's not got a male world champion. And I just wondered, I know he's got OPT, Bam Bam Rodriguez, Bivol and that, and they're top £10 per pound, but there's nobody in UK. Do you think he put all his eggs in one basket with Conor Ben and Anthony Joshua?
I don't know. You can't say that because people would come back straight away. You say, well, he's doing Dalton Smith, and there's other kids that he's building and bringing up, and he's signed
Yeah.
some Olympians. But I think obviously Eddie goes through eras or cycles because at one point the cycle was Ricky Burns, Kell Brook, Tony Bellew, Cleverly. Then it goes into your Quiggs, your Crollers, your Smiths, that type of era. Then
Mm.
Joshua, Katie Taylor, that thing. Now Conor Ben, and is mostly banking on Dalton Smith and the young kids to be coming through now to be the next cycle of fighters. So, well, that's it. Where I feel like Frank has got multiple options, especially the heavyweight division. I think he's got must be like 6 or 7 of the top 10 of them, and then he's still got what I call the tentacles in and around the local domestic scene. That most would tell Frank, listen, there's a 17-year-old kid here, Moses Atuma. He's got to go in GB. Frank will go, I'll get him. Frank signed Joe Cooper, an 18-year-old kid, 17, 18-year-old kid. Frank seems to still have people that are looking out for him and highlighting the prospects to make sure you sign. Where you look at, give an example experience, look at Ben Shalom. Ben Shalom went out and signed all the first picks, Fraser Clark, Ben Whitaker, and people like that, where
Yeah.
Frank hasn't. Frank's gone and got your ABAs and your runners up and your schoolboys and all them type of kids. And that was it. So I think Frank's stables are stronger at the moment. But I'm sure Eddie there's got Dalton Smith and other prospects, and he's investing, like you say, in your Pat Browns and other kids coming through. So like I say, he'll have to go back and regroup. And obviously, he didn't like losing the 5v5. I see the anniversary that Frank did the other day. Like, do you know what I mean? So I know. I know. Like Eddie likes to laugh and jokes it off, but deep down it'll be killing him, and he'll be wanting to put that right. So yeah, there's some good fights out there, but I think British boxing is booming at the moment.
Well, Moses the town, mate, he looks like he's going to be the next big thing, doesn't he, at the moment?
Yeah, but listen, you can't fault him. His beat what's put before him is exciting. He's a young kid. And like anything, we all want to see him have that step up. And in
Yeah.
the same way that we've said, there's kids out there, I thought to myself, well, you mentioned there with Dave Allen, was like Dave Allen, Moses Atuma in a bad little fight, or Moses Atuma versus a couple of other kids that are just
Dylan
on the fringe.
White.
fringe before. Yeah, there's Dylan. But there's fighters like that for him to fight with, to the household names, Derek Chisora, them type of kids, and see where he goes. So we'll see anyway. But like I say, I think boxing's in a healthy position in Britain at the moment.
It is. Well,
Even though
Joe,
we've only got three world champions,
is
but
it
I
three?
do
What we
feel.
got?
I think Kakatsu's one. I think Kakatsu's one. I can't remember. I have to go through the thing. I'm just
Ball
trying to
and
think.
Dubois.
Nick Ball,
Dubois.
Dubois, and do we have any female world
Terry
champions?
Harper.
Terry Harper. Sorry, that's four. I think it's three males, four. So is Caroline Dubois a world champion?
I think she isn't. She Katie Taylor, is she?
I was just talking about Britain, not
Oh,
Ireland.
Britain,
So
yeah.
yeah, so that's it. But like you say, I think that there's a lot of people been places ready to. You look at Hamza Shiraz, whether he comes against Belanga, obviously Eubank Jr. if he gets a world title
On a good
fight.
go now, this.
Okay then, mate. No problem.
Listen,
Sounds.
you look after yourself, Joe, and thanks for coming on. And I'm sorry about the tech issues earlier.
Yeah, no problem. Sound. Look after yourself, mate.
Cheers, Joe.
Cheers,
Bye.
mate. Bye bye.
Bye. Well, that was Joe G. Women love him, men want to be him. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Well, peace out. Don't forget to share the video. Well, booyaka.